Hi, we're here on Persona with Kristan Peters Hamlin to get some reaction from her on yesterday's big news about the Mueller report. Kristan is a former federal prosecutor and actually worked with Bob Mueller in the Justice Department. Kristan, what was your reaction to the news breaking yesterday, essentially with, if not an exoneration, certainly good news for Donald Trump, as the Attorney General basically said there will be no charges, no further action coming from the Mueller report. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I don't think that there was exoneration because Mueller very specifically said this is not an exoneration. So to the extent that the president is trying to pitch it that way, again, he exhibits the same longstanding disconnect with the truth that we've all been very concerned about for quite a while. I think that the decision is far more problematic on the obstruction of justice issue because there are both process and analytical problems. With respect to the analytical problems, there was actually the initial reason that this investigation, this assignment of a special prosecutor occurred was because Comey was terminated. And Comey was terminated after he resisted the president's efforts to get him to drop the investigation of Flynn. That investigation of Flynn ultimately has been successful. He has admitted to lying. That lying was one of the reasons that our intelligence community had concerns about Flynn, because the Russians also knew he was lying, so then he would have been susceptible to undue influence. So the fact that Barr has tried to say that the sort of bootstrap the collusion determination as a justification for finding that there couldn't be criminal intent because they weren't able to establish a collusion sort of forgets that the actual obstructive conduct regarding Comey related to Flynn, which has been proven. So I think analytically he's wrong. Also, the second prong of the prima facie test that he focused on, which is that there has to be some sort of ongoing proceeding, is not correct. It can be an investigation, which was ongoing. And then from a process standpoint, I think it's very problematic that Rod Rosenstein, because of his own implication in writing a memorandum that was used by the president to justify terminating Comey, feeling that his reputation was in tatters, he decided to, of his own initiative, to get an investigator in. He brought Mueller in. Mueller was supposed to find whether there was obstruction or not. Mueller was supposed to make the determination, and instead, the very person who felt that he himself should not be in charge of the investigation into obstruction because of his personal involvement in it, was the one who made the decision. And Barr has made that clear. Barr has said that, well, you know, I might have only looked at this for 2 days, but I've had Rod Rosenstein here and he's been involved in it the whole time. Well, Rod Rosenstein took himself out of the equation because he felt that he was personally involved. So there's a serious process problem here. You've got an attorney general who's only been involved for a couple of days in looking at this, who lobbied to get the job based on his very expansive and unusual view about the president's right to obstruct justice. So between the two of them, they were probably the two most inappropriate people in the Justice Department for making this decision. It really is a decision that should have either been made by Mueller, or he should have just put together the findings and then said this is something that we want Congress to decide.
All right, well, we'll be seeing a lot more about this in the coming days, but certainly it appears that this chapter for now is over. So, Kristan, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.